Wave.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is that time of week where we have a guest join us, coming to us live from San Antonio. You know the next line? It's just like Compton. Bruce Bowen, what's going on?
All is well. What's going on with you, Bomani?
Hey, man, I feel like we do it a little better over here than you folks are doing in San Antonio right now. Like, y'all a little nervous after. Look, I was just telling Ryan before the show, there's only 2 ways for that dude to get a concussion in an NBA game, and that's to hit his head on the basket or what happened right there. Otherwise, like, how does he ever get hit in the head? And he wound up hitting chin first. Victor Wembanyama, chin first on the floor, and was night-night.
Obviously it's a scary situation because he didn't have his hands to brace his fall. By the time he was already heading downward, it was face first. And these are some of the situations that take place in the game that people don't realize, like just in a pulling of the chair, losing your balance. It's a variety of things that can happen. We were just happy that, okay, that was the least of it. I remember last time I saw someone hit their chin. Well, it was more or less their mouth, and all you saw was a spray of chiclets.
Yeah.
And that's what I was hoping I didn't see him doing, like, oh, there's my tooth over there. There's another particle over there.
Yeah, like that is the part that I had not thought about, because you're right. I don't know exactly who that was, but I remember exactly what you're talking about. That face goes into ground, and then it's just teeth. And you got to go get them. You can't just leave them out there. There's still a chance to save them.
Right. The one I'm talking about, it happened to be Doc Rivers. And so when that happened, it's already scary anytime you just that sound. Only people understand that have either hit the back of your head on someone, and like you're really like, whoa, what just happened here? And then to see him, this is where I think not having a lot of experience going into the playoffs, how a certain scenario can happen where you're like, hey, this is why you respect your team. I'm not saying that the Spurs didn't respect Portland, but this is why you have to talk about things in a way where nothing is guaranteed. The playoffs are a different animal, and we see so many different things that transpire during the course of that. This was one of those situations that if the Spurs aren't playing with Victor, it's only because of something tragic happening.
Yeah, and concussions in sports outside of football and hockey to me are interesting because those are not great risk of head injury sports, right? And so we don't think about concussions in the same way. But in the NFL, we see those dudes come back after a week in the NFL. Sometimes it might be 2. But I think about a guy like Justin Morneau in baseball, and you see this in other spaces. People are typically way more judicious outside of football about bringing people back from concussions, because a concussion, you know what a concussion is like in the NFL? It's like a snow day. If you live in Iowa, like, we can't be taking off for so much time behind these snow days, man. We never get anything done. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just can't be shutting it down every time it's a snowflake.
And to your point, Bomani, yes, football, every play is some type of head collision. You know, the helmets hit one another.
Right.
It's part of their norm. It's just when it goes to another level that was like, hey, we have to dial back. But excuse me, in basketball and baseball, all these different sports where you don't have the collisions quite like that, that's where it becomes a little more, as you say, judicial in how we handle these things.
Right, and that's where I'm kind of torn, because on one level, it's like, hey, let's just be careful, da-da-da. On the other, ain't nobody hitting that big motherfucker in the head, man. Like, his head is the safest head in the history of professional sports when it comes to being at risk of somebody hitting him. Ain't nobody clearing no elbow through and hitting him. Like, that is
it's intentional if he getting elbowed in the head.
It requires somebody to, like, you remember that time that Chris Paul tried to knock the ball out of DeAndre Jordan's head?
Okay, I was going to Isaiah Thomas with Rick Mahorn.
Yes.
And it's Isaiah, he's and Rick is like, stop it, man. He said,
Yeah,
just stop with
Rick
those
said he
little
had pillow
noogies.
hands.
Like,
But it's like it feel like a kid. It's like, hey, gimme. That's what it's gonna take for you to hit that dude in the head. The other part of it is, though, he is the franchise in a way that nobody is the franchise.
So this is where players don't always like how they're handled. I remember a time when Manu did something and Pop was like, "That's it? Nope, you're done." And and no, Manu's a competitor. Same, Victor's a competitor, but because of your value, and you never want a player to ever feel like you all don't value me. You guys put me out there too soon. We've heard many stories like that. With this situation and what he's able to do for the organization, yes, it's about his health first and foremost. Now, I'm sure after a couple of days, Victor's gonna be like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. And they're like, hold on. We need to make sure you are okay because it's not just for right now. We're
Right.
talking about future.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I had this observation about him as they gave him the Defensive Player of the Year trophy before the game on Tuesday, right? You played with, for my money, the best defensive player of that era of Tim Duncan, right? The best team. I don't know if anybody ever affected team defense quite like Tim Duncan did from the second he showed up in the league to the second that he left. Tim Duncan never won Defensive Player of the Year. I have no idea when anybody else is going to win Defensive Player of the Year with Victor out there, just because nobody defense going to look like that ever. Did you see the shot chart from like what happened after he left while he was in the game?
They lived in the paint.
Exist.
They lived. Hey, guess what, y'all? He gone.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's what it was, the equivalence of. You just made a statement talking about Tim never getting the Defensive Player of the Year. I didn't like how at one point it was just given to a guy who rebounded the basketball. When I believe Marcus Camby got it one year.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Now, people gonna say, "Ooh, he throwing shade at Marcus Camby." No, because I look at defense not as a rebounding deal. I look at you limiting someone that's really good at a position. And I didn't look at Marcus Camby at that time as a stopper. It was a time when Ben Wallace was getting them, but you could validate that with what he was doing. He guarded Shaq by himself a couple of times during that series in 04.
Right.
So he's playing defense. He's blocking shots. We talk about Victor and what he's able to do. Bomani, he can stand in the paint and get a good contested three-point. Somebody shooting a three-pointer, he can contest it from the closing out from the paint. We've never seen something like that. When he extends his arms, it reminds me of that running Reb team with that amoeba defense. They were so long. Stacey Augmon arms long, Ackles long, Butler long. So when we start talking about how someone impacts a game, it's not just the fact that he's blocking shots. It's the fact that every time you get in the paint, you don't know where he's coming from. And it's almost like, okay, go gadget, arms. And he's still, they try to get into his body. It's hilarious because now he understands like, when they try to feel where I am, they have a better opportunity and maybe scoring. But when they can't get into my body, they don't know where I am. And that's what you see him doing a lot when it comes to ball going in the paint. He's just there. He creates so much havoc on the defensive side. It will be hard to not necessarily say, all right, who's going to get second this year in Defensive Player of the Year votes? Who's going to get second?
Like, I don't see any way anybody can be more impactful because he's also out here sliding his feet with dudes on the perimeter. Like, what are we supposed to do?
I saw him sliding them puppies one time, and I was in my house like, ooh, get him. It's such a pleasure to see because when it comes to the technique of it, he stayed in the defensive stance. He never allowed his feet to come together. He didn't open his hips and give way to the basket. All these little nerdy thoughts I have when it comes to those types of moments, that's what, I can recognize on the fly and just marvel at it because of his size.
Yeah. Now, I also think this. I think even without him, they still win this series. They had that game in the fourth quarter and then just kind of gave it away as it went. And Portland's not a bad team, but Portland's not a good team, right?
No.
Like, I think San Antonio without Victor, and that's the biggest change from the beginning of this season to now, is that before, this looked like a lottery team without him. Now they look like a team that wins this series.
Yeah, I believe they were 12-6 without him this year. And what you get a chance to learn in this moment, Bomani, for a young group, that some of your key contributors don't have that experience. They can only get the experience by having the experience and going through whatever it is. This was a game where Mitch will go back in that film and say, fellas, look at what we're doing. We're up 14 with 6 minutes to go. What transpires after that is where coaches love to break the game down as far as showing the players their flaws or how they didn't continue on with whatever the play was. Get to the end of the play. Now that you don't have Victor, it's no longer about a quick shot. Now it's about making sure you can attack from certain areas on the floor and stay disciplined to it. During the regular season, you can skip steps and sneak out with a win. During the playoffs, it's not about skipping those steps. It's about really focusing on the part of who are we going to attack right now, and stay diligent in that and stay diligent to what you do. The biggest thing for me is that this younger group learned a valuable lesson of how important it is to stay locked in defensively, because you got a lead and then all of a sudden you lost the lead, and it wasn't about necessarily the shots. It's about them getting to the basket. Now we got to stay in front of folks. These are things that it's just so hard to do on the fly. They're accustomed to having Wemby. They're accustomed to that. Oh, he's good. We got help there. Now we need to guard the yard a little bit more, do a better job of the rotations, and just understand that even in the midst of things right now, it is a learning process, and it's so important that they absorb all of this, which they are, but it's just even more important that you realize that playoffs are different from the standpoint that you don't pack it in, you fight till the end. And if there's ever been a team that they can look at and say, wow, look how they kept fighting, was last year's Indiana's team. The fact that every game they were down, they beat the Knicks coming back from a deficit of 20 plus points. So it's still about the fight.
Yeah, let me tell you this. I can't wait to see game 3, and it's actually only minimally related to the Spurs because it's going to be weird vibes in Portland. Have you been reading these stories about their owner?
No.
Okay. So for people who do not know this, they were just bought by this dude named Tom Dundon. He is the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, right? He's a billionaire from Texas. He is worth $4.25 billion. And John Canzano has already written the column asking whether this dude is trying to set it up to have the team leave Portland, right? And it's because he's doing things like this. Your man Splitter, interim coach, right? This should be a feel-good time for the Trailblazers. Let us not forget, their beloved head coach was indicted by the feds earlier this year, right? They picked it up. They've made the playoffs. The word is out that their owner wants to see if they can get a head coach for between $1 and $2 million per season. And they are currently looking for other coaches while their season is still going on. Now, hold up. I got more for you, right? That's the vibes when you're just talking about what might be going on around the team, okay? I was told that with the Hurricanes, the hockey team in Raleigh, that he has been heard complaining about the 5-star travel requirement in the collective bargaining agreement, for example. Like, he is the guy that believes you can put a number on everything. And that putting a number on everything includes the number for the T-shirts in the arena. So in San Antonio, where they did the whole thing, where it looked like the old logo and the colors were going all around, brother, they ain't even giving the people T-shirts. I'm dead serious. They are not giving the people T-shirts. And look, it's one thing in LA where they don't even want to wear the T-shirts. You know what I'm saying? Baby, this is Portland. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna have them T-shirts on. They would not put the money on the T-shirts.
Wow. That's, it's unfortunate, because I think if there's anything you can be doing, especially right around this time right now, is really marketing how great of a job Thiago has done, marketing how great of a group they have in Portland. You got Dame Lillard back. You got this vibe within the young culture there of guys doing their work and spending time in the gym and getting the extra shots. On top of that, we just had come out on Netflix the whole Jailblazers thing. So why not really take this time to promote what your club is doing right now? Obviously, we don't know what's going on in his head, but it's a sad sight if the team is able to leave, or if he gets rid of the team out of Portland, because we went through that in Seattle.
Yeah.
And Seattle was a beautiful place to play. Just the atmosphere. I mean, they were champions years ago. They've been to the finals in Gary Payton's era. It's don't start. I guess it's not me, but it's like, don't start screwing up things that were implemented from a long time ago just to satisfy yourself. Think about others in the process.
Dog, he just cheap. Like, it's flat.
1 to 2 million. What I'd like to know is, what's the average yearly salary for NBA coaches, head coaches?
I think it's now in the neighborhood. Like, I don't think you can get any coach now for less than $6 million.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get a college coach for $2 million.
And yeah, it just sounds like to me you need to have some people in your organization, or some confidants that will help him understand that this isn't what you want to do.
Yeah, like, I look at the league on this, because this man gets down like this with his hockey team also. Now, you can make the argument, and as Dundon does, that team has been good since he got there and the results have improved, but this ain't the NHL. You know what I mean? Like, you can't play this game over here like this with the NBA. My guy Joe Giglio made that point. He's like, unless you're going to draft a superstar, you're going to need to sign a superstar. You're going to need to do the things that make players want to play on your team, especially if you're Portland.
There was an attraction in Portland other than Nike.
Yes.
Was the owners plane.
Yes.
And I remember my first year in the NBA was with the Miami Heat, and we had our own plane. I went to Boston the next year, and I was like, well, where's our plane? They're like, oh, we have the team charter. And man, when I tell you, my heart was hurt the first flight I took. It had nothing to do with the amenities, because it was fantastic. It was just, they were a little more special on Miami's plane. That's all it was.
Hey, but man, you never know. How far did you feel from West Fresno when you started complaining about the play?
Oh man, shoot! I rode that gray dog, bruh. So, hey, Bomani, let's not forget, I played in the CBA when you saw the pilots going out there on them little crop dusters testing I looked out the window and I see a guy doing this to the propeller. I'm like, okay. Well, I used to ride buses, and now I'm on a pilot doing this to the propeller. Oh Lord, you got something in store for me. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna stay steadfast.
Oh, no, no. I was just saying, because this happens to people. I'm sure there's somebody that's out here listening, being like, oh, you complaining about the private plane. And you're like, yeah, but things change. As your life changes, things change.
You know, I love the NBA. I love what it did for me. I love the places that I've gone because of the NBA. And there was a time, Bomani, where some teams didn't stay in Ritz Carltons and Four Seasons. They were still at them Holiday
Yeah.
Inns, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm glad that everybody seemed to have received the memo about the you want to be able to order room service sometimes at 2 a.m. and it's not a sandwich.
Hey, man, that's what that's what LeBron was trying to tell people. Nobody wanted to hear it though. LeBron, like that hotel in Memphis is not up to is not befitting of a man of my stature.
Hey, oh boy, that it's kind of tough in Memphis. It's kind of tough, baby. It I heard one time that, so to your point, like when teams lay the towels out or the t-shirts, well, in Memphis, one year when they were still playing at the Pyramid where the University of Memphis would play, they had these towels. And so they're like, come on, everybody, 12 those towels. Man, when I tell you, I don't know where they got those towels from, but all the little lint particles that were floating during that game, you just see somebody do this. You're like, is it a mosquito? No, it's from the towel. So it's all about the quality sometimes.
Hey, let me give you a fun fact. Do you know what the Pyramid is now in Memphis?
No.
They turned it into the world's largest Bass Pro Shops. I'm not lying. It's Bass Pro Shops.
That's yeah. I'm gonna text you back on that one.
Yeah. Right fast though. Before we get this break, I want to ask you: Boston lost to Philadelphia by 14 points. To me, it just feels like this is what happens when you decide to shoot 53s and you're not making them that night. Am I missing it? I mean, Edgecombe was great, but that seemed to be the biggest part of it. Is this is just going to happen when you play ball like this?
Well, part of it is, yes, we saw it last year. Remember, especially in the Knicks series, they went on one of those cold sprees. But the other side is that you still got to play defense. And a couple of times I saw Pritchard isolated with Maxey or Edgecombe, and like you got to know we got to rotate on that one. Those two, man, I tell you, I used to hate stopping on a dime because your feet move in your shoe, you're creating friction. The corns are starting to act up. And when I see Tyrese Maxey and he get to the hole and he do that snatch dribble because he stopped like skirt and and I feel like others are like dogs hitting that corner and maybe they can't recover. So you gotta understand when those two have the ball and they get in those ISO modes, you gotta send somebody at least try to make it where you got Drummond shooting the ball or something. Cause those two, they quick with that ball.
I forgot Andre Drummond was in the NBA until I looked up and watched him play the other night. And that's crazy because he's like 32.
Well, we just sometimes we need a program to get guys in better shape.
But also, the game evolves on dudes. Like, you remember Roy Hibbert went from being a great defensive player to being unplayable for the whole league in 3 years?
And I think sometimes in those scenarios, Bomani, part of it is the communication and what exactly can I do? Because I think there was a place for Roy before he was out of the league. There was a place for him. It's just a matter of how do you figure it out? Or for Roy's case, how do you continue to add to whatever skill sets you have? We saw Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
He got to Milwaukee, and next thing you know, he was no longer on the block. He worked on the shot. He could do other things as well as just shooting. He could clog the paint. He could rotate. He could switch out to guys. You have to reinvent yourself now. You really do. If you want to continue to play the game, it's not, no, what I do is I get on that block. They're like, no, that block's for Giannis. What are you going to do? Okay. Well, if he develops a touch shooting, now he forces a big outside of the paint. And now Giannis has the operating area of the paint. And it works. But to his credit, he continued to evolve. He changed his game to become something different, something that can be utilized on a team, whether it's in the East or the West. Now with the Clippers, able to do stuff. Now, I don't know how old he is, but he's getting up in age. But it's been a long time since I seen him on the block like he was in Brooklyn.
Brook Lopez just finished his 18th season in the NBA. And let me explain to you how long Brook Lopez has been in the NBA. First of all, you may not know this, but this is one of my favorite trivia factoids in the NBA. Brook Lopez is the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Nets.
He was there that long?
No, he was there that long, and he's been gone from there for 9 years.
Ooh.
That's how long Brook Lopez has been in the NBA. Long enough to become the all-time leading scorer in a franchise's history, and he's been gone for 9 years.
And how many years was he there?
9.
Okay. So you know where he's from, right?
Fresno.
Come on now. It's part of that water. That's that Central San Joaquin Valley water.
Yeah, see, I got another thought on Brook Lopez that I will talk to you about also on text rather than on this show. But coming up next, go talk with Bruce about the Lakers-Rockets series because I got a feeling I know what he has to say about the Rockets. Find out coming up next. You can predict the playoff action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. All you have to do is sign up to get your $25 bonus. Follow all the playoff dishes, swishes, wishes, and misses. Every move is a potential plot twist. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Where one run, one rebound, one shot changes everything. From opening tip to the final buzzer, stay locked in with every pass, every play, and every moment that moves us closer to crowning a champion. Sign up now for your $25 bonus on FanDuel Predicts. Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commissions merchant. 18 plus. Bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with our consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at fanduel.com/predicts/bonus offer terms.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Market, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus, one per user. Minimum $10 deposit required. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with our consumer protection tools.
Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers? They have all the plants your yard or home needs, including fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and houseplants, all grown with care and guaranteed to arrive healthy. It's like your local nursery, but anywhere you live, with more plants than you'll find anywhere else. Whatever you're looking for, Fast Growing Trees helps you find options that actually work for your climate, space, and lifestyle. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to get your dream yard. Just click, order, grow, and get healthy, thriving plants delivered to your door. Their Alive and Thrive guarantee promises that your plants arrive happy and healthy. No green thumb required, just quality plants you can count on. Plus, get ongoing support from trained plant experts who can help you plan your landscape, choose the right plants, and learn how to care for them every step of the way. I recently ordered some plants from Fast Growing Trees and cannot wait to add them to my own plant collection. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials and up to half off on selected plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code Bomani at checkout. That's an additional 20% off better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code Bomani at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code Bomani. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use Bomani to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. We are here with Bruce Bowen, who had to pull himself together after I gave him my observation about his Fresno brothers, the Lopez's. But Rockets, Lakers. We'll get to LeBron in a minute because I just think what he's doing is incredible right now. But I think personally that this is embarrassing for the Rockets in every way. And it looked kind of like they quit a bit in that game. Like, I could not believe that the Lakers could just walk through the lane so consistently and nobody even seemed to be trying to get in front.
It goes back to the youth. I'm going to say the youth again, Bomani. You look at where they were during that playoff series last year or year before last against Golden State. Was it year before last?
I think it was the year before last.
Okay. So you look at that time and you say, ooh, they're on the cusp. They're on the cusp. And then Fred goes down, VanVleet. The importance of a floor general. You just can't make somebody a point guard. We talked about this at the beginning of the season when they played OKC. They played OKC, and the last so many minutes, KD didn't even get a shot. A floor general recognizes when that boy that can score in his sleep, they recognize that he needs a shot. Now you try different pieces there, and what it just seems to boil down to is that this era of basketball where we're talking about, oh, he's a two-way guy. I'm sick of that term. This ain't football. A player should be able to play offense and defense. Maybe not as grand as others, but you should never be solely out there just for one aspect of it. So you have a big man that can score like it's nobody's business, but it's the other part of the game that you worry about. Where were the defensive rotations when LeBron drives by KD? I didn't see any. He 40 years old doing a reverse.
Yes. In a game, not on a breakaway, in the half court.
In the half court. This is where I say sometimes teams give in. They don't look like they're happy with one another. You can tell team camaraderie, especially in adverse situations. These situations, sometimes it's like you think going back home, okay, now we're going home for two, we're going to get two. No, all it takes is game 3 for you not to come out the right way. And it's disappointing because what we've seen with Ime as a coach, I heard Perk talking about Ime got out coached. I have this thought process is that when players are not accountable and they're being held accountable, usually what they do is pout. The first thing they do is pout when they're held accountable instead of being coachable. Being coachable is still listening to what a coach's constructive criticism is and going out and executing what it is that he has given you words of wisdom to do. But when you're not coachable, now your mind is somewhere else. Now you all of a sudden forgot to rotate. And when this guy that's been in the NBA for 40 years, 20-something years, is driving to the lane. And I mean, not just one time, Bo. Money, it was multiple times. Finished with the left, one stretch dunk. It's like, come on, fellas. What's going on here? This is where I hate to say when coaches no longer have an ear to the players, this is what they do, but others blame coaches. They're going to blame Ime, who has been to the finals, and they're going to blame Ime, who had a team against a veteran team, Golden State, take them down to the wire. Like, it's not the coach. We need to start talking about the players and their ability to be held accountable.
Now, I'm interested in hearing you say that. Now, you played with Ime in San Antonio, right? Like, What worried me about that in terms of coaching is what Ime is going to give you no matter what. Your expectation when you hire him is these dudes are going to play hard, right? Like he's the accountability guy. That's what everybody loved about him in Boston. It's like that idea. I have questions about like schematically off his, to be fair, the teams that we've seen him coach with primarily have not had point guards, right? But it gets, we've seen offenses slow down with him, all of those things. Kevin Durant is too hurt to really be playing. Like no matter like the 9 turnovers, that seemed to be because nobody else is moving without the ball as much, getting to places where he could help. But where LeBron went by him and did that reverse dunk, Durant couldn't move. And that's not because Kevin Durant isn't trying, right? He really, really clearly is trying hard to play when I don't know if he is able to. But I was stunned by the way that those dudes just didn't seem to be playing hard in that moment. And they're going to come home, they're going to mess around and get swept. And that's a bad look for everybody.
It's a bad look for everyone. It's not just, oh, Ime did this. Like the athletes on that team, you mean to tell me that the best option was a player who didn't play in the first game, gonna guard LeBron? Come on. You made a statement about Ime and the first thing that said guys are going to play hard for him. One of the most frustrating things in life is, as a coach, is when you realize that athlete may not be able to shoot. When he was attacking in transition, I'm talking about when you get these guys that can finish above the rim, but when it comes to a basic play, like a catch and shoot, or in order for them to be successful, someone has to dominate the ball. So the ball's not moving, which in essence allows the defense to be set. In this day and age, you want to create movement. You have to create movement. And in that movement, you want whoever has the ball to be a threat, and the team has to adjust to that. But if they don't have to adjust, they'll just pack the paint. That's where frustration truly sets in a head coach's perspective, because he's not working with pieces that can necessarily benefit what he wants to do.
They lost to a team that played Luke Kennard for 42 minutes in a playoff game. They had 85 combined minutes between Luke Kennard and Rui Hachimura. And that's not to say those guys aren't NBA players, right? It's not to say that they're bad, but they're not supposed to be playing 40-something minutes in an NBA playoff game, one that you win.
And there was no doubt. But, they're having their way out there. During the course of the game, Luke Kennard, this is where I think about these moments where guys aren't necessarily given a lot of credit that don't play a lot during the regular season, or because someone got hurt, he needed to step up. This is where you start the process of saying, hey, that's a professional NBA player. Because a professional NBA player just wants the opportunity. When his number is called, he's not going to come in and blame, oh, well, I didn't get reps. I didn't get this. I didn't get that. He's doing a tremendous job of staying ready, even though now practices in the NBA are not at a level of college and high school. So you have to figure out a way to get your win right. And for him to play all those minutes, Bomani, it just shows you that he was prepared for this moment.
Yeah. I'd also make this point, too, that Get Off My Dickerson, the account that people say may or may not have been the Kevin Durant account, Get Off My Dickerson's criticisms of the Rockets appear to be quite prescient. Just about everything that account was saying is coming to bear in the playoffs. All of it.
But Bomani, are you really surprised with the way that they're handling the adversity from what we've seen this season from the Rockets?
No. There was a line once way back when about the Yankees, one Yankees team that said 25 players, 25 cabs, right? Like that was the impression of that team. And that seems to be the case here. And especially with what I find interesting about that is it's with really young guys, right? And not just young guys, a lot of them lost together. And my buddy Vinny always makes the point because he covered the Pistons a lot when they were terrible. And he was like, winning teams, everybody's got somewhere to be when you're winning, right? You hide over here, you hide over here. But losing teams are normally the ones that are hanging out and playing PlayStation all the time. You know, like not even so much to say that the losing gives them a bond as much as it creates circumstances where they spend more time around each other. These dudes look like they just met, like they shot for teams.
Yeah. And even the welcoming of like Shepherd, you know, we knew he wasn't a point guard when he first got there, right? And this is a guy, he has a skill set that you can utilize. Sometimes it's about, hey, well, if I'm not getting this from this individual, let me do this with him just to give us something from a threat perspective of shooting. Because I don't remember exactly what they shot from the field in this game, but that's the biggest thing that stands out to me is that ball dominance and where's the outside shooting coming from?
Right. The Lakers, I mean, look, I'm sure there are lots of things to talk about. In the end, it is LeBron James. Like, let me get the keys. Nobody has ever been able to get more out of other dudes. For him to be so excellent as he has been for his career, but then having that other superpower, nobody's winning playoff games with these dudes that way but him. And he's doing it, and he's damn near my age.
Great statement. I think about 2007. He took a team to the finals. Oh, let's go before we get to the finals. Let's say that game in Detroit when he scored 25 straight.
Yes.
You know, you had a bunch of role players out there. Not a bunch, but Boobie Gibson. Boobie Gibson was not a household name.
Right.
You know, they had Eric Snow on that team.
Touche. Jeff McGinnis was the backup point guard.
Yeah. You had Big Z. You had Boozer.
No, he wasn't. He had run that game already on them by them. I think it was an old Ben Wallace that was on that team.
No, Ben was on that team.
I think he had left Detroit, but like if he wasn't, it was that caliber.
He was coming. Yeah, but you look at what he's been able to do. He's not out of practice. This is not out of character. This is what he's been accustomed to dealing with. Okay, this player is good when he's in this spot. Let's make sure I have him over there where he can succeed. That player is good in the pick and roll. I can set things up where Guyton looks really good right now. And I think that's the beauty of what LeBron has been able to do for his career is not just be the dominant person of just scoring, but really galvanizing a group to make sure that they can have looks, they get out in transition, all those things that are necessary to build victories within a group and also to build them up. Because this is very different than when Luka's on the floor. Luka's going to have the ball quite a bit because he's special that way. But look at how they can make this change. And now LeBron has the ball, but he's dominating the ball to get others involved.
Right. And by the way, it was not old Ben Wallace. He got there the next year, but Drew Gooden. Drew Gooden was big man on that team.
I knew it was someone like
the particulars honestly didn't matter at that point. It was some cats that was in the NBA, and they put them in calf suits, and LeBron made that happen. I want to switch up, though, to a series. We talked earlier this year, and you talked specifically about, like, Jokic and leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're playing against Minnesota, and it is very clear that Minnesota hates their guts, right? That that quote from Jaden McDaniels about how we're going at all their poor defenders, every single player. Like, he went too far, but year 11 Jokic is looking like more of a defensive liability than before. But I wanted to talk about the leadership that I don't think gets enough credit, which is they keep giving Anthony Edwards all these guys that other people don't really feel like fucking with, right? You give Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, then you switch him out for Julius Randle in a trade where I think both teams concluded that you couldn't win with that guy, and they switched him off to the other squad. Rudy Gobert, right? The least respected player that good in the history of anything. And whenever they play against Denver or just anybody else, they go, and it is clear that that guy, by force of personality, raises the level of all these other dudes. And they have a chance to win this series when the other team has the best player in the world.
Also, the dynamic playmaking skill of Ant.
Yeah.
You know, that's the part. Whenever you have that guy, we've seen it with Jordan. I mean, Jordan had no, he didn't have Concact. He had Cartwright. He had Cartwright for quite some time. And you know, if anything, he learned to get out of his way on them driving lanes.
Yes.
But the beauty of Ant, I feel, is that time off that he had with the knee issue. That time off allowed him to rejuvenate. It allowed his body to rest and heal a little bit. And he was already an individual that we're well aware of in his work ethic and figuring out other ways to score the basketball. It takes me back to the LA Clipper game when he doesn't make the pass. And then, you know, coach is saying, swing it. And he ends up taking the shot with two guys on him and he makes it. And this is what I do. I think media made more of that, what coach is saying, because he's going to ask someone during the game to make that next pass. So this is only him holding Ant accountable to the same standards of everyone else. Now, Ant is special. So that's why you didn't see the coach going back and forth with him, because that is what they want from him. But now that he's had this time to heal, this time to rest up and get better physically, who's going to, like, a lot of times we like to cancel out who cancels out someone. Well, okay, Rudy Gobert cancels out somebody from that team. Jamal Murray cancels out someone from that team. But now, once you start doing that, who cancels out Ant-Man?
Right.
There's not even someone that you can necessarily say, okay, he gives him a hard time scoring. That's the part. When a player understands that you guys can try whatever you want, but you won't stop us, that's when you're in trouble. And Rudy, as much as we see the meme of him being choked by Draymond, he's effective there. And Ant appreciates him because of what he does.
Like what I love about Edwards is he looks at a dude. You remember that year where they had like the pickup draft for the All-Star game and LeBron, and I can't remember who was the other guy, where nobody wanted to take Rudy, and they just clowning him basically on national television. And at every turn, Anthony Edwards is like, "Nah, man, you cool with me. We need you, dog." And Rudy, I don't know if he'll ever admit it out loud. You can tell he needs that. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell, because he's always, nobody want to give me the ball, right? Like all that sort of stuff. And is kind of like, man, just give him the ball right there. Yeah, cool, man. Give him the ball. I'll talk to him after, man. We'll be fine.
Hey, but that's what the greats do. The greats understand that kind of stuff. There were times Tim could have shot the ball, but he passed it to me because he knew it was a higher percentage shot. I mean, he knew that I needed a touch.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, that is the beauty of leadership as well. Recognizing what someone does and what they do well for you. If Ant was on top of Rudy Gobert that way, as far as being negative, then they wouldn't be able to utilize his skill set. And at the end of the day, say what you want, he still controls that paint. And he's not afraid to get dunked on. He is going to battle. And unlike some of the other French guys that played in this game, he got a little heart.
Hey, that was his best Jokic performance ever, because Jokic used to eat his ass up. That fourth quarter, he played better against Jokic than I think I've ever seen him play against Jokic.
And it makes you wonder, too, you know, the makeup now of it's just so interesting, Bomani, when a certain coach leaves, when there's a new coach or new ownership, things changed because that voice is gone. They won an NBA championship. Now I get it. This coach was on the staff then, but it wasn't about what he was doing. It was what the head coach was doing. Now that he's gone and he's at UNC, now it's a different voice. It's a different swag. You know, I remember one time I was talking with him and I said something and he went straight to accountability. He's like, Bruce, you know, I don't want to talk to agents because one of their players got in their feelings because I looked at them funny at practice. He said, but when you keep it straight, it becomes a lot easier for that player not to want to pick up the phone and more or less have a conversation.
Yeah. I want to get one last thing with you before we get out of here. Did you have CJ McCollum being the Madison Square Garden villain on your bingo card? Like, you tell me if I'm wrong, but it looks very clear to me, and it would not surprise me. CJ McCollum is like, explain to me why Jalen Brunson is better than me. Like, tell me what the difference is between me and Jalen Brunson. Because one thing I know is Jalen Brunson can't guard me. Right? He said that basically after the game. And they're like, are you targeting him? What do you think? I'm like, oh, hey, CJ, I ain't know you had it in your game like that, big dog.
Really? Yeah, Bomani, CJ has been special with that rock a long time, man. He just happened to hit a growth spurt, I believe, late high school, and then at Lehigh.
Yeah.
So his ability to get to spots on the floor. His brother played overseas, so his brother would come back home and they would get to work. And he's always had that. What became an issue was, okay, who's going to be the person to start this and finish the game between him and Damian Lillard when they were in Portland again. It was a great 1-2 punch. But then CJ wanted his own, and that's when he departed for New Orleans. But this is not anything that I'm surprised or shocked by. It's you got to have someone that's creative in an elite level because he's an elite scorer. Before, who was a player like in the playoffs years past for against the Knicks that you would have worried about when it came to Jalen Brunson guarding them? It wasn't Halliburton really, he wasn't necessarily, I don't remember that matchup so much, but it was someone else that was guarding Halliburton. And so it took the onus off of that. Now, it's not to say that Jalen can slide his feet, but he hadn't had the chance to guard someone quite like CJ in the past. Because remember, Jalen went to Villanova.
Right.
They played defense at Villanova. So it's there. I'm just saying it's never been isolated like that, like a searching, like, oh no, here you go. Here's the one we want. And he went to work when he had him. He got busy, got downhill real quick.
There's my man, Bruce Bowen. San Antonio, you know what I'm saying? Just like, okay, he got poses. All right, I see you. You ready for your close-up. That's what's up. I feel you. West Fresno. See, notice I got West Fresno right this time.
Yeah. Look, hey, Bomani, you've wronged me so many times. I just, I want to keep it going. I want to keep this relationship the right way. Because I know a lot of people that enjoy us getting together the way we do. So I'm just trying to keep that going and not allowing something as tacky as he didn't say West Fresno, he didn't say it right,
We good, baby, my brother. I appreciate you, babe.
Same here, baby. You enjoy this playoffs. And last thing I'm gonna say is that it's the right time.
I see. There we go, man. We'll talk to you again soon. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 4 days a week. Ryan Brumley handling everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Hit the voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.